Hey y'all, welcome to my channel, The Simple Happy Life. I'm Sabrina, and I am jumping into organizing my rising fifth graders' work for the upcoming school year. Last year we organized their work on carts and they really liked it. It kept them organized and working pretty well independently. So I'm going to continue with what has been working. So what I've done is taken all of the magazine files off of the top of their carts, well, of my fifth graders' cart for now. And I've taken all of the books that he completed, his main lesson books, his course books from last year. I'm going to file those away. This is a stack of books that will go back onto the cart and into these magazine files. And then in this bin, the one that I've been putting his incoming work in, his notebooks, main lesson books, things that we're going to use this year. I'm going to pull those out now and organize them onto the cart. And I'm going to share that process with you. Shouldn't take long. I'm going to keep it simple, but let's do it. So in this first magazine file, I'm just going to leave it as is. It's got his dictionary, a thesaurus, a grammar guide, and I don't feel like he's outgrown this. I think these are things that he references on his own and he can still use next year. So we're going to just leave that the same. These are his watercolor and drawing notebooks. We'll need these for art. So I'm just going to put this down here in this bin. And I will have, I had one last year and we'll continue to have a magazine file labeled for art. Here are some math books. He may not need this one on the cart anymore. I think I'll actually take that one off, put it back on our shelves. But this one is nice to have as a reference to anything that he might be working on. So I'll leave this on the cart for him and I'll put it in his math section. Then he's got this nature journal. We didn't finish this book, so he still has some pages left. So I'm gonna just put it back on the cart in his science section. We've been using this one for a couple years now, so this is a timeline. And so we will just keep using that for next year. I'll put it with his English and history. We're going to combine those this year because his course book is combined for English and history, and I'll show you that. We're going to keep his reading journal that we started last year on the cart because we didn't use all the pages. We only use this for novels that we did novel studies for through Oak Meadow or ones that we chose with Brave Writer. So like this is one he did with Oak Meadow, and we just normally put the cover. So we have more pages, so we're going to continue using that, and I'm going to put that with his English workbooks. Same goes with spelling here. We didn't use this complete notebook, so we'll use this for spelling tests again this year. And then, actually I don't need these. Writing and rhetoric, he asked to do, he enjoys this. I like it because it's got copy work and dictation and some comprehension. It's a fun way to teach writing, and he likes it, and he gets to create speeches and things like that. So I won't schedule this, but when there's time, we will do this. We worked through book one last semester, and so we started this. We'll continue it as we go, but I don't think I will schedule this work in. We'll just do it when we have time. And this is a writing process folder we've had. It's a good reference. So this is from Lakeshore. And he can take his work and move it along the process. So I'll leave this kind of a fun folder. He likes referencing it and putting his papers in that way. So that is all that was already on the cart. That's going to remain on the cart. And now I'm going to pull out the new stuff. So daily grams, we did this last year. We did book 4. He's going to do book grade 5 this year. It's just a review. Every day is a review of grammar. And I like that because with Oak Meadow, there is a review, but you're focusing on, with most grammar programs, you're focusing on a particular aspect of it or part of speech. And so this is good for us to have that constant review. So I'm going to put that with his English notebooks here. And then I think I'll also put his vocabulary in there too. If you saw my homeschool haul video, then you know that I got the vocabulary notebook and it looked like this. But because there is a lot of writing, they get kind of frustrated with the binding. So I had the binding cut off and then I put it into this like flex binder from 5 Star. And so it's gonna live here too with his English notebooks. Now, I'm seeing this is torn a little bit. Y'all, I've had these for years, so I'm not even mad at it. So I'll probably eventually replace this. These are from IKEA. I actually have another one upstairs that I'll trade out, but that will hold his English workbooks. So in the next magazine file, I've got his history timeline here. I think I'll go ahead and add in his English and history course book from Oak Meadow for 5th grade. We'll do that there. And then his main lesson book. He chose green for English and history. Now, how I use this, last year he had a main lesson book for every subject. This year we're just going to do it for English and history combined and then science. So for my 5th grader, or my 6th grader last year, let me see. Things like notes, or like this is what he used a regular lined notebook for his notes and like exercises and things like that. And then he would put his final work, like papers that he did along with the illustration, into a main lesson book. And that's how we use our main lesson books last year. So for longer papers, I would just staple them in. He didn't really like writing, so he typed things out. See if I can. So this is like 1, 2, 3 pages deep, and then he had this like works cited. So I just stapled that in, and then he would have his illustration. And so that's how we use main lesson books. It was only for our final like work and illustrations. So I'm going to do the same for my 5th grader this year. Again, he'll have his English and history in this main lesson book, and I'll put that into his English and history magazine file. And then for his notebook, again, for notes and exercises and things like that, that will live in this 3 subject 5 Star notebook, and that has it'll have science as well. So I'm going to put that in here and move on to science. So in the science one, I think I'll go ahead and just obviously do his science course book and with his nature journal, and then I'll put this atlas in there, and then I'll do, he chose the red one for his science, for his science main lesson book. All right, so next up we have math. This year he has a course book for math that is written to him, and then his math workbook. So I'll put that in here along with his math notebook. And I did have this one spiral bound, just easier for him to work with. So I'll put that in here with his math. And that's it. This one's art. I think we'll be doing some photography. So any materials that we have for that, I'll put in the art bin as well. But that's it for the top bin. And I'm going to go ahead and relabel these magnet labels that I use on this cart. I'm going to relabel these. But I'm actually going to take the plastic off. Let's see. I'm actually going to take the plastic off this year because it slides so much. And I'm just going to put, I use my label maker. I'm just going to put the label right onto the white part of this and add it back onto the cart. So let me do that, and then I'll show you the magazine files back on the cart. So I finished labeling the cart and organizing the bottom 2 shelves. I'm going to show you that now. But to clarify what I was saying before, I'll link these magnets if you're interested in them. The clear part kept sliding out for us last year. I don't know why, but it was annoying, and I was tired of sliding them back in. But if I forgot it out for a little bit, I realized that the white part didn't really slide, the paper that's on the magnet. So this year I'm just adding my clear labels directly to the paper on the magnet. And this is the last thing I need to put on the shelf. So now art is done. And of course it wants to wiggle a little bit after I said it doesn't move. But we've got art, math, and logic. We won't start with logic this year, but I hope to be able to work it in once we get into a flow. Science, English and history, English workbooks, and reference books. So those are the categories I shared earlier. That is a cookbook holder that we use as a book stand for copy work and taking notes and things like that. This section is manipulatives, and I'll show you what we have on the shelf when I turn it around. Headphones and laptops and chargers are stored here. These particular ones actually belong to my 6th grader, or my rising 7th grader, my oldest. But just so you can see, that's where my youngest, his will live. And then we have books and supplies here. So this is what it looks like from the front when it's kind of chilling over there in the corner, when it's not in the closet. And then the manipulatives, he's got some math manipulatives and boards. That's a giant map from Bookshark. One side is blank US, one side is blank, a map of the world. Colored pencils and crayons he uses daily. These colored pencils are erasable. We really like them. He uses them for grammar. And then the books down here, we're still doing our 3 weeks on, 1 week off. So I'm prepped for 3 weeks at a time. And these are 2 of the books that he will start with that have been assigned for Oak Meadow. So I already added those there. And I did want to mention that I added one more reference book since I moved stuff from the table, which is this DK American History Encyclopedia. So we use this often enough that I think this year with him studying U.S. history, that I'll just store it in here on his cart, and then I moved his notebook for all 3 subjects into the science magazine file. But that's it, guys. If you have any questions or comments about his 5th grade organization, let me know. If you enjoyed watching this video, please consider giving it a like and subscribing if you're not already. And I'll chat with you guys soon. Bye.